Hello, I'm John Bommarito, and I hope this video finds you safe and well. Here is a fun, radical revisions edition of the Acoustic Alternatives video show. The show you don't really need to watch, it's more about the music than the images. Put it on, turn it up, and just go about your day. Put it on as background music. That's all I want you to do is listen to these songs. They're designed to ease you into a Sunday morning, but really good to play anytime. This week I couldn't stop adding to the list. So many songs I wanted to play. I even moved some of them to the Michigan Artist playlist I assembled that I put together earlier in the week, and I put some on next week's show that could have been on this week's show. So here we go, digging in with Luca Striganoli, starting things off from the U2 catalog, With or Without You, a song whose lyrics are very meaningful, but this song is done in a beautiful solo guitar rendition. Remember when I said you didn't have to watch the videos? This is the one you have to watch. Watch his hands. Holy crap. His newest album is called Change of Rules, and there's a lot to like about it. Even one vocal track, which is new for Luca. Up next was Kelly Velo, No One Like You, originally by the Scorpions, one of my favorite rock songs of the 80s. I really felt like I needed to hear somebody cover this one, and again, I want the lyrics in there, but I couldn't find a cover version I liked better than this acoustic guitar version by Kelly Velo. A unique voice, Noah Guthrie covering Prince's I Would Die For You. Noah has covered a lot of great covers in his day, and he does his own music too. He also appeared on the final season of Glee, but had already a ton of music out there for consumption by the time that happened. This is truly a radical revision of a Prince favorite from the Purple Rain soundtrack. I'm not your lover, I'm not your friend, but I am something you'll never comprehend, a lyric from I Would Die For You. Another Prince love song, Nothing Compares to You, originally recorded by The Family and taken to higher heights by Sinead O'Connor. Chris Cornell's Ache on this one is just beautiful. His family just announced a new series of covers that will be released as singles over the next 5 months. They're calling it the We Are the Highway series. The first one is Safe and Sound by Geneva Magnus. Proceeds from all 5 singles will go to the Chris and Vicky Cornell Foundation. Truly, on this one, nothing compares to you. Feeling broken? Many of us are during the pandemic. If I could, I would fix you, but I'm pretty broken myself. Sam Smith takes on this Coldplay song. Next week, I will include a different broken song, another beautiful one, and it's a cover I could have put on this week's show, but I'll tell you about that one next week. The 6th track on today's playlist was a Carpenter song that came into my head last month, and I wondered to myself if anyone did a decent cover of it. I doubted any current artist would dip that far back, but a young Shane Eriks did. In fact, it was a total coincidence. Another old 70s favorite came to my mind, and she happened to do that song too. I'd never even heard of her prior to the searching out of these 2 covers. But 8,000 people have already liked the video for I Won't Last a Day Without You, originally by the Carpenters, so I guess I'm just behind the curve. She does Karen Carpenter justice in this cover, I think. If I Can't Have You is originally by Shawn Mendes, and this song's original singer just made history by becoming the first artist in Canada's Juno history to win Single of the Year 3 years in a row. It's a damn good pop song, this one, with the same message as the Carpenter song, actually. And whoever this Leroy Sanchez is, he's a damn good singer. The standard I'll Be Seeing You, written by Sammy Fain, done beautifully by Norah Jones in her home. Quote, I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you. Ooh, beautiful stuff there. The next song never fails to grab my heart and make me feel stuff. A song Brandi Carlile made famous, written by her bandmate Phil Hansroth. He actually wrote it long before Brandi made it the title cut of her second album, the song The Story, done in a lovely rendition by Leanne Rimes. Up next was Raul Malo with Besame Mucho. Kiss Me a Lot is the translation of this beautiful old song title, written by Consuelo Velasquez. I'm not much of a dancer, but this one kind of makes me want to learn. Raul Malo's voice. Not much I can say about that other than, wow. It's strong enough to create a bond between son and father that didn't exist. Just ask me. Recently, I heard the original Def Leppard Bringin' on the Heartache on the radio, and then I remembered Mariah Carey did a cover of it. And then again, I wondered if somebody else did a more acoustic take of this song. A little bit of searching, and voila! Eternal Morality have me covered, or rather they have Def Leppard covered. The other 70s song I randomly decided to see if anyone good covered, and there she was again, Shane Eriks, doing Everything I Own, originally by Bread. It's a song that in the video notes she dedicates to her mom, but the song could almost just as easily be an ode to a love lost. True love, maybe. David Gates wrote a heartbreaker with this one. Timeless. Speaking of timeless, so is the work of Bill Withers. So many have covered this song Ain't No Sunshine, but I am happy to see James Bay, a guy who I think could save real pop music from being overproduced, the overproduced stuff that it's definitely becoming, because he's a really good performer and a good songwriter, and I really enjoyed his performance on this Bill Withers classic, Ain't No Sunshine. Next was the song co-written by Adele and her producer Greg Kurstin, and it's the one in her catalog that really stands out to me. It's called Water Under the Bridge. You can just see this relationship unfold and then crumble. Listen to those lyrics. That's real heartache right there. Colin and Caroline, whoever you are, thank you for covering it. A song originally recorded as Torn by the rock band Edna Swap and released in 1995, 2 years before Natalie Imbruglia took it up the charts in 1997, and 2 years after, a Danish artist recorded it in a 1993 version that translated it into Burned instead of Torn. I've never heard that version. I have heard the Edna Swap version. This one is for those of you who are feeling a bit torn and bruised right now. Boyce Avenue doing Torn. One of my favorite albums of all time is the debut album from 9 Inch Nails called Pretty Hate Machine, and there's nothing acoustic about it. It's angry and aggressive and so full of emotion. If you told me back in 1994 that a song from their second album would be covered by the Man in Black, Johnny Cash, I would have never believed you. Here it is, Hurt from Johnny Cash, and if you are hurting, maybe you'll relate to this one. I had the U2 acoustic version of You're the Best Thing About Me on last week's program, and during that time I stumbled into this nice cover by Kelly and Gibson. You're the best thing about me. Sometimes you have someone who brings out the best in you, sometimes you don't. Another one of my favorite U2 songs, probably number 2 on the list, is the one called One, nicely done by Howie Day, who got his share of U2 comparisons with an early single of his called Perfect Time of Day from his breakthrough album, Howie taking on that U2 song called One. Sorry to all the fans of Joni Mitchell's version of this, or even the Judy Collins hit version, but there simply is no better version of Both Sides Now than this one from Mary Fall. End of story. Katie Pruitt is a recent discovery for me. I really like her new album, and this is a relatively new video from her of the breakout song from the Indigo Girls. No harmonies like the original, but I solved that problem by playing the Indigo Girls covering Elton John's Mona Lisas and Mad Hatters. There is another live version in the band's catalog on a promotional only disc that is better than this one, and I own it, but it's hard to find. This one works just fine. I haven't heard their new album, but a trusted friend tells me it's quite good. Moving on to something a little bit more fun to balance out the heartache and the painful songs in today's playlist, Jonathan Coulton covering Sir Mix-a-Lot's Baby Got Back. The original song used to borderline offend me every time I played it as a mobile DJ. Then Jonathan Coulton made it a love song. This is a Radical Revisions edition of the show after all. Also quite different from the original, Jonathan Coulton taking on Rick Springfield's Don't Talk to Strangers. It inspired me to find a couple of Rick Springfield songs for next week's playlist, so make sure you tune in. Jonathan has an album called Some Guys, where he does super faithful to the original renditions of some of his favorite 70s songs. This is not one of them, but that is worth seeking out. Two of my friends from the Michigan music scene doing a gorgeous version of John Legend's song called Ordinary People. This was recorded for Channel 4 and NBC here in Detroit. Hope you like it. Switchfoot, a band from California, just put out a covers EP. This is one of my very favorite songs from 2019 by Vampire Weekend called Harmony Hall. Very nicely done by Switchfoot on this new EP. Up next was Jacob Moon. This guy is a master of interpretation. He's really working hard online to provide for his family by doing regular shows from his home. He got a lot of attention a while back for his cover of Rush's Subdivision. In fact, it caught their attention. And this cover of Rush's Time Stands Still is equally brilliant. Check him out online if you get a chance. Just released last month, a new video from Lily McPhee from the Michigan music scene. I hope she's finding a way to make money doing what she does best, which is sing. Here's a really nice cover of Natalie Merchant's Carnival for the playlist today. Found the next one online while I was stumbling into other performances from Borders, which happened in Ann Arbor a few years back. Recent shows highlighted the Avett Brothers as well as Matt Nathanson. This is Paolo Nutini covering the Love and Spoonful's Daydream, and I really love his take on this. Close to the end now, Eric Clapton and Sting co-wrote a song called It's Probably Me. Sting released it on one of his albums. They collaborated for a version on a soundtrack, and Gregory Porter interprets it for the Polar Music Prize ceremony in this unique and lovely style, and Sting is in the audience. Watch his reaction. And finally, I've never played Rick Astley on purpose before, but when I heard his cover of the Foo Fighters' Everlong, I took back anything bad I'd ever said about him. This is a really cool cover and an unexpected surprise from Rick Astley to close out today's show. Thanks for listening.